Hello, everybody. Hi, neighbor. But man, I gotta. Jeez. That's what Narragansett beer used to say. Apparently, back in the '60s, and '50s, '60s, and '70s, Narragansett beer is New England's own. Actually, my dad used to drink that stuff. Hot Atlanta, right on, man. Where you at, Rush fan? Where you at? 2112. Um, and just kind of funny. I was talking to a guy the other day who collects beer cans, and there's money to be made in beer can collection. Isn't that crazy? Who would have thought? So while we're Hoxton, yeah, I don't even know how to pronounce that. My wife cut my hair, looking good. If I do say so myself, looking good. My wife gave me a cut, free cut, man, free cut. We are on Rumble. Let's see here tonight. We are on Rumble. See if anyone's there with us. All right, hold on just a second. All right, cool. There we go. All right, sweet. So we're there on Rumble. We're on YouTube. All right, sweet. I think a 6-pack of Billy Bear. I need my Billy Bear cans back. Wow, man, save those, Linda. I'm telling you, it might be worth something. Hey, Thomas. Chicken Charlie, Linda, Harry in the house. Que paso? What the markets due today? And let's see. I have no clue what the markets did. Let's take a gander. They were down. S&P was down 5 points. All right, no big deal. Oh, the 10-year Treasury is dropping to 3.15. The 10-year Treasury is down 4.57% the yield, which means the price went up. That's interesting. Why was the 10-year Treasury down almost 5% in yield today? Huh. Don't know what to make of that. I like it. I like it. So the 10-year Treasury actually was at 3.4 just a week ago. Now it's at 3.1. So it's lost 30 basis points in a week. It's lost 9%. That's interesting. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. I'm still calling for the market to go down 30%. Yes, I am. And so the S&P was down 24%. I think we're probably down to what, 22% now. So I still think we have another a little bit yet to go. No, the hockey's on. It's intermission of game 4 is 1-0 Tampa right now. Hockey's a weird sport, man. I mean, Colorado dominated the first game, went to OT, and they snuck out a win. They smoked them in game 2. Tampa smoked Colorado game 3, and now it's like Tampa's got it's just beating Colorado, even though it's only 1-0. It's weird, man. My man says, I don't think that Sniffy Joe's gas tax holiday will work. I think it'll make matters worse. Hey, Joe. Joe, you see who my man Ross McClintock was? Ross McClintock is a hero. So Jill had sent me a thing from an economics professor about Denise, what's going on? Ross McClintock about his thoughts on inflation, and Ross McClintock is a North American hero because he uncovered the Climate Gate scandal. And if you ever needed any evidence at all, not that you would, because we know that a lot of academia is fraudulent. We know, like everybody knows this. We know this. The fraud. There's probably more fraud in academia than there's truthfulness. To be perfectly honest with you, and this isn't you can just look at anything in terms of the ability to replicate studies. It's freaking disgusting. Anyway, Climate Gate is the biggest one. Michael Mann, Phil Jones from the East Anglia CRU Climate Research Unit in East Anglia, the UK. A couple other guys, I'm drawing a blank who they were. They had to hide the decline because they could not admit there was a decline in global temperatures once CO2 was going up. They said that can't be, so we had to hide it. And Ross McClintock was the guy who found that out. And anyway, I just is an economist, and if it wasn't for him, we might be in an even worse place than we are now. The brownouts are coming, man. There's no two ways around that. They're coming, and the scrambling of European and Australia for coal and natural gas is actually quite frightening. And look, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, you can't be living your life scared. What are you gonna be scared? That's not going to change anything. But the issue is a fact that they're scrambling, and just wait, man. I mean, you can't just turn on a pipeline. It doesn't work like that if you've banned the pipeline from being set up. Frustrating. Anyway, so I want to share with you guys something that what my man. So he said, "What do I think about the gas tax all day?" It doesn't matter. I mean, this what 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 is he? I mean, I don't know. What is this supposed to do? Give us a couple extra bucks? Okay. I mean, I'll take it. Anytime I can get more money back, but I don't drive that much. It's just thinking part two of that when I was looking did my video on sales tax on my electricity bill. 7.75% sales tax. That's a regressive tax. Yeah, regressive tax because it applies to everybody the same. So if you're a poor family, you pay 7.75, and if you're Chipper Jones who lives in my town here, you pay 7.75. It's weird how the Democrats don't talk about that. It's weird how they don't talk about the gas tax, how that affects poor families, but yet we're going to subsidize the Tesla drivers who don't pay a gas tax. Democrats are frauds, man. Look, this doesn't mean the Republicans are better, but the Republicans are. I mean, in of itself, that does just because the Democrats are frauds doesn't mean the Republicans get a free pass. But the facts are the Democrats they're for the rich. They will always be for the rich. They're not for the freaking poor and middle class. They're not. They're for the wealthy because the Democrats want nothing more than to maintain wealth and power. That's all they care about. All they care about. It's disgusting. That party is run by disgusting people. A good amount of those people in that party are disgusting. That doesn't mean if you are a Democrat, you're disgusting, but your party is. That's just a fact. Are the Republicans that much better? Yeah, a little bit. Not that much, though, that's for sure. But anyway. All right, so let's I actually think it's funny. Apparently, the Putin tax hike, or the what do you say, the Putin inflation hike? Putin. So Putin's in charge of our policies. You didn't know? You're joking, right? I mean, Nancy Pelosi's wealthy. I mean, you have to know that. I assume you're joking. You're saying she's wealthy. How could she be when she only makes 225? I have to assume you're. We know they're joking there, but I never understood how. What's the name? The guy who just died from Nevada, Harry Reid. How the hell did that guy get so wealthy? Well, Sniffy Joe. I mean, geez. All right. Yeah, I figured you had to be, man. 100%. I was like, there's no way. All right. Regressive just means it hits the. It is basically they're going to say a flat tax is regressive because you pay more of your income to taxes. Progressive means you pay less. You pay essentially what happens is you're regressing. The less income you make, the more in taxes it goes to. If it's a flat tax, a progressive tax means you pay more taxes the more income you make. That's what it is. All right, so I thought I'd share this with you. This is pretty neat. So I'm doing my research on just wait one second. Let's go back to Rumble here. And when we got all right, cool. We got some people on Rumble. Right on. Good. All right. Yeah, I'm not as committed to Rumble as I need to be. That's for sure. But I do like Rumble. I like having the alternatives. I just like YouTube, man. I mean, hell, I was looking at old Narragansett commercials. I go to YouTube. I was looking at someone else say go to YouTube. It's just the YouTube's just freaking. It's just awesome, man. I love YouTube. Anyway, so what is it? Oh, so I want to share with you guys. Hold on just a second. This is fun. So this is pretty interesting. Here's from the balance. U.S. national debt by year. All right. So I thought this was funny because we're going to go and we're going to show you something here that the debt to GDP ratio during the Great Depression 17, 22, 34, 30, 40, 39, 42, and then 51 we start ramping up for World War II. But notice the debt to GDP was was well below 50%. All right, and this was deflationary. So debt to GDP was deflationary during these years, and the debt to GDP ratio was well below 50%. All right, so we fast forward until the 50s. All right, in the 50s were not considered high inflation, and they were considered high growth and low inflation, and debt to GDP was 68, 69, 64, 57, 58, 55. You can see right there, the 50s, the debt to GDP was twice as what it was in the Great Depression. Interesting. So now we start going into the early 60s, 54, 52. Oh, wait a second. 54, 52, 50. all the way down to 1966. The debt to GDP was only 40% in 1966. That's when the Medicare was passed, the Welfare Acts, all that stuff, the war in Vietnam, and yet the debt to GDP, 39, 36, 35%. Isn't that interesting? And the debt was $354 billion, $348 billion, $371 billion, and yet the debt to GDP, they used to call it GNP back then. It's not quite the same, but pretty close. 31%. What the hell? In 1974, after the two biggest bear markets we had since the Great Depression, the debt to GDP was only 31%. Oh my goodness. What the hell? All right, so then we go down to, wait a second. 1966, we all know what the beginning of that was, the beginning of the incredible inflationary times. Yet the debt to GDP was as low as it's ever been. What's that about? How can debt to GDP be the lowest it's ever been? Inflation's going through the roof. That makes no sense. What the hell? We got recession, wage and price controls, stagflation. What the hell? We got rid of the gold standard. What's going on, man? Debt to GDP is less than it's ever been. Hold on a second. How can inflation be kicking in and debt to GDP is so low? That doesn't make any sense. All right, so now we go to Ronald Reagan. Reagan increases military spending, increases tax cuts. Debt to GDP starts going up. Debt to GDP going up to 50% in Reagan's last year. 50%. What is going on? What's inflation doing, though? It's going down. Now we're going to say inflation went down because Volcker raised rates to 20% in 1980. You know what it was in these 2 years previous to that? 11, 14. So we're going to say the 20% is what whipped inflation now? That's freaking silly. Oh my goodness, look at this debt to GDP, 61% in the Bush's last year, 63, 64, 63, 60. Starts going back down again. And what is happening now in the late 90s? Inflation is going back up. Isn't that interesting? You can almost say the debt to GDP is indicative of inflation. The higher the debt to GDP, the lower the inflation is. And if we look at Japan, that's exactly right. So debt to GDP is going up in the late 90s, or debt to GDP is going down in the late 90s. You know what's going up is inflation. That can't possibly be. You, Josh, you must be a modern monetary theorist, which I'm not, but I chuckle at these people who say, well, the debt to GDP. So then we start going into the 2000s. Oh my God, 82% in 2009, the debt to GDP is the highest it's ever been. Oh my goodness. Look at all the debt right there, $12 trillion in debt, which is a 20% increase from 2008. Oh, inflation. Look, I thought it too. 2010, the debt to GDP is 90. 2011 is 95. We're going to have 100% debt to GDP. Oh my goodness. We went from 9 trillion to 15 trillion in 4 years. Debt to GDP hit 100% right there in 2014. Oh my goodness. Debt to GDP is, oh my, look at that 124%. This is impossible. The point being is the debt to GDP in all these years, inflation was nominal. Where inflation was bad was the debt to GDP was low. Now, you can't make a case that the debt to GDP being low equals high inflation, or the debt to GDP being high equals low inflation, because then we go back to the Great Depression. Debt to GDP was still 30s and 40s. So I don't know what to make of that. I don't know. I just find it interesting that everyone and their mom freaks out about debt to GDP, says it's inherently going to be inflationary, as they do about the number of debt that we have. We're never going to pay off the debt. Well, we can make up your mind. It's never going to be paid off, ever. The debt to GDP indicative of high inflation? No. It's just like the same thing with spending. It's just not, man. It's it's very, very frustrating to me, because I sit there and I say, man, how do people not get? So I want to share with you something else. Let's see if I still have it. I hope I do. Yeah. All right. Sweet. I do. Yay. All right. So we're going to go into this guy. You'll get a kick out of this. This is the beginning of Reagan's term in 1980. All right. So blowing up the interest rate balloon. This is from Washington UPI, United Press International. And so this doesn't matter if the Kingsport Times, it matters not. This is just syndicate. I mean, so it matters not what paper actually published this. This article appeared in many, many papers. I just thought this was pretty funny, though. So check this out. And so this is kind of what I do throughout the day when I'm not talking to people. I want to show you something right here. All right. Many economists believe this rise in interest rates will tip the economy as a whole into another recession in early 1981, which it did actually. During the election campaign, Reagan blamed roller coaster economic effects, including interest rates, on the Carter administration. Carter blamed rising rates on ill-advised policies of the Federal Reserve Board. So remember, everyone, their mom is now kissing Paul Volcker's butt, but they weren't doing that in the late 70s and early 80s, that's for sure. Despite their importance to major industries, consumers, jobs, prices remains, interest rates remains for many people an enigma. What makes them rise? Is the Federal Reserve possible? How the recent increase has affected the economy? All right, so I want to show you guys something here. I want to show you right, if I can find it. Hold on just a second. Right here. The Fed has much to do with controlling the supply of money, but little influence over the demand of money. The latter is set mainly by the economy. In boom times, businesses borrow heavily to finance expansion and production. That has been happening during the recent months of recovery from the last recession. The rising federal deficit shares some of the blame. When the government borrows heavily, it competes with private borrowing, pushing up rates. That's what the economists of the old days would say. They call it pushing out. I forgot what they call it, but it's crowding out. That's what economists call it. They're crowding out because when the government borrows heavily, it competes with private businesses pushing up rates. That's simply not true. I mean, it could be true, but it's not. If X happens, Y is a result. All the old economic theories have been completely blown up these last 30 years. All right. To the large extent, high interest rates simply reflect the current state of inflation. Now, remember, this is December 31st, 1980. Let's see. Before October 1979, the Federal Reserve sought to hold down the money supply and thereby reduce inflation, primarily through interest rates. It worked on the theory that at every level of interest rate, the public and business will want to hold a certain amount of money. So before 1979 October, the Federal Reserve wanted to reduce the money supply. Thus, that we would see a significant decrease in inflation, right? Did we see that? No, we did not. By buying and selling government securities, the Fed could influence the federal funds rate. When it wanted to reduce inflation, it would raise the funds rates, raise interest rates, and hope people would hold less money and prices would fall. Does that make any sense? When it wanted to reduce inflation, it would raise interest rates, hoping people would hold less money and prices would fall. Why would you hold less money if interest rates are going up? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, but still, I get what they're saying here, but I kind of thought this was kind of funny if I can find it right here. Oh man, I don't think this is the right article. There's an article right here. Now let's just keep going here real quick. Just with the money supply, they're like, every kind of can be added up different ways. Okay, hold on. This is the article I was hoping for. Damn. What did I do with it? Shoot. I got rid of it. Wow, man. There's another article I came across that had in one respect, high interest rates are not so onerous. For a business owner with a marginal tax rate of 1/3, a 20% prime is 13% after taxes, because you used to be able to write off. Don't forget, you used to be able to write off your consumer debt. I don't know if you guys knew that until the Tax Reform Act of 86 or 82, I can't remember, but you used to be able to write off your consumer debt. So with high interest rates, again, for a business owner with a marginal tax rate of 33%, a 20% interest rate, you're only paying 13% after taxes. Isn't that interesting? But anyway, they had a Nobel Prize winner. Federal Reserve Chairman Paul Volcker argues that no overall anti-inflation policy can succeed unless the Fed continues to curb the growth of the money supply. All right. He has repeatedly promised he'll keep doing so. So Paul Volcker said it right there. Until we continue to curb the money supply, no anti-inflation policy. So he was saying inherently he was already curbing the money supply and it wasn't working. But Paul Volcker and Wallach, who's another Federal Reserve, contend the Fed cannot and should be not asked to control inflation alone. They argue there must be other policies, including moving to a balanced budget, changing of government policies which boost inflation, including import controls, price supports, and indexing of benefits to consumer prices, and creating tax incentives to hold down wages and prices. So can we stop this kissing of Paul Volcker's ass, man? It just drives you up the wall. Because remember, Reagan was cutting taxes. That is inherently inflationary. Reagan's cutting taxes, putting money back in people's pockets. Volcker just said right there there must be other policies to include moving to a balanced budget, which did not happen. The whole thing is drives you up the wall, man. Therefore, in October 1979, I can't. I guess I don't have the article here. Millions of American workers will find their first Social Security paychecks will be smaller than their last paycheck. All right. This is compounded by a promised income tax cut, but its dimensions are unknown. Anyway, so there you go. So if I can find that other article, I will. I just think it was interesting. A Nobel Prize winner said the Fed can't control inflation or can control the money supply. That guy's from Stanford is beyond their capacity. I kind of chuckled at that because everyone now, hindsight, says, oh my goodness, Paul Volcker. Now, you guys might not care that much. I do, because we put so much faith in economists. Look, there's a guy on on YouTube. Well, I know I've interviewed him, like him, but he said when the economy gets out of whack, we should just stop everything and let the economists take over for 6 months to put us back on track. The level of the credentialed elite that we bow down to is mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. We have a Nobel Prize from Stanford back in 1980 saying the federal government can't control inflation. They just can't. They can't control the monetary supply, the Federal Reserve. We had another lady who wrote an article who didn't know the difference between a deficit and a debt. Hold on. I'm going to find that because it still ticks me off. I was like, dude, how do you not know the difference here? Hold on just a second. All right, so we're going to look at my newspapers.com thing. See if I can't find that real quick. I'm just going to look at this one real quick. Not sure if that's the one I looked at. Hold on just a second. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, right here. All right, so that's perfect. This exactly. So we've got John Creelman teaches economics at Sierra College and hails from Kansas, from a Kansas populist family. All right, whatever. I'll get rid of that thing. Get out of here, man. All right. So check this. I chuckled at this. Here's economist Milton Friedman blames U.S. deficits for inflationary trends. Creelman said the federal deficit some $1 trillion. The deficit of $1 trillion. Oh, and if we just look at this page right here, this was in 1980. Now, I don't know if he said that, the economist, but if we look at 1980, we're going to see the total debt was $908 billion. So no way was the deficit $1 trillion. I assume he meant the debt. And now they might have typed it wrong. I don't know. But the fact is, not knowing the difference between the deficit and the debt is just, it's freaking stupid, man. It's embarrassingly stupid. I'm not sure if it's the person who typed it or that economist. I don't know. It's still, though, the idea that deficit is 1 trillion when the debt was less than 1 trillion it just ticked me off. Anyway, Milton Friedman blames U.S. deficits for inflationary trends. U.S. deficits. Okay. So do we not have deficits there, Milton, in the 60s, in the 50s? Of course we did. We didn't have a balanced budget at all. Individuals are the final cause of inflation. A homeowner who pays $25,000 for his house and sells it for $75,000 a few years later plays a role in the inflation game. Check this out. I'm going to show you some here. We got the Nobel Prize winner right here. Nobel Prize winner Kenneth Arrow, economist at Stanford, recently said he believes the federal government has lost its ability to control the money supply. Yet the St. Louis Fed did a 25-year study completed by the Federal Reserve showing a direct positive relationship between the inflation rate and the amount of money in circulation. A 25-year study. That I'm sitting there thinking, this is 25 years. It's kind of like the climate change stuff. We're going to start in 1979 when the global cooling was at its worst, when the temperatures in the late 70s were at their lowest. And then we're going to start from there and saying, look, that'd be like us saying, look, the stock market is huge, wonderful. It averages 15% a year. And you say, oh, man, you're right. Not knowing that you started on March 9th of 2009. If you started March 9th of 2009 as your starting point, of course you average 15% a year. And you're like, yeah, look at that. 15% a year is what the stock market does. And here's the Federal Reserve, other professional economists. A 25-year study shows that the money supply equates to inflation rate. It's just freaking silly, man. And according to Creelman, this economist, who either he or the author did not know, this Janelle lady did not know the difference between a freaking debt and a deficit. He says there's a 3.5-year lag between the rate of monetary supply and inflation. Right. And the whole point is, in plain language, this means when there's a large money supply, there's a high inflation rate, but it usually takes 3.5 years before it gets felt. Yeah. Anyway, I just stop. Can we all just stop putting our faith in all these experts, please? Please. The experts don't know nothing about nothing. And I don't get, like, let me give you real quick. You'll get a chuckle out of this. If I could find it here. Hold on just a second. I'm going to laugh. Happy Pride Month, by the way. What are we going to do when Pride Month is over? What are we going to do? I won't be proud anymore. Happy Pride Month, everybody. Pride. All right. Hey, my man, Ken Wheeler's on right now, live streaming. Love Ken Wheeler. All right. Anyway, so let me go to right here. My channel. Okay, cool. And we're going to go to community. And I got to. All right. Here we go. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. Now we'll take some questions. So I did my video on dark matter is silly. It's not proven. People say, well, we can measure it. I said, how can you measure something you can't prove it's even existing? Well, we can measure it. Anyway, so this guy says, Rocky Hill Studio, he doesn't like me. And I don't care. I chuckle. It makes me laugh. One of these days I'll ban him. Just comes. If you got nothing but negativity, say I'll ban you. I mean, I can deal with some negativity because I can be kind of negative. But if everything you say is negative, you're going to get banned. But anyway, this guy chuckles. He says, I keep coming back to your channel because it's entertaining, usually, but not exactly enlightening when it's just rambling opinions. You truly prove nothing here. You share your opinions. That's great. But you conflate dark matter and your minutes or hours long exposure to the concept with staying in a crappy old job. I don't get it. But anyway, so he's saying you truly prove nothing here. I proved. So he wants me to prove that dark matter doesn't exist. So I says, prove to me dark matter doesn't exist. That's what he wants me to do because I said dark matter doesn't exist. Of course, you can't prove a negative. That's silly. I cannot prove that Bigfoot does not exist. I can literally not prove that unicorns do not exist. But anyway, it's silly. So he says, not the best or brightest found the YouTube comments. Anyway, I chuckled at that because what he said too was and this is where what was I getting ready to say? The appeal to authority comes in. Hold on just a second. We're going to go to videos. I think it was there. Videos. And we're going to go to right. Hold on. Right here. Silliness of dark matter. All right. So I just want to look at the comments real quick because this is the kind of people we have to contend with, sadly. Let's see if we can find this guy. I got to delete her because she's obviously, hold on just a second. She's a troll. Anytime you see a bunch of thumbs up like that, that means they're trolls. So just delete. I'm not sure if you guys can remove trolls or you can report it as spam. But if you see a bunch of thumbs up, in the double digits, they're spam. All right, here he goes. my man. And so this is spam. Obviously, that's not me. I don't have WhatsApp. So this guy says, prove to me your financial planning training gives you special understanding of advanced physics and elemental forces. Again, so this is the issue because I don't have advanced training in physics or elemental forces. I can't speak to the inherent obvious flaw in physics that says dark matter exists. In fact, if you talk to any physicist, I guarantee they're going to say we can't prove it. But that's the point. It's the same thing with my friend who's like, "Oh, just turn over the economy to the economist." I'm like, no, don't do that, man. Stop thinking like that. For heaven's sake, these people don't know. Going back to Bill Buckley. Look, I think Bill Buckley is a CIA agent. I really, really do at this stage. I think there's a book on that, which I'm going to read. I got so many freaking books to read. I'll know when I'll get to it, but talk about Bill Buckley, National Review, or CIA operatives. And I completely agree with that now. I always wondered why Bill Buckley was so anti, not just the John Birch Society, but just the American First people. It's weird, man. So why is so, I've always wondered that. So he didn't like Pat Buchanan. Buchanan wrote for the National Review on occasion. They got rid of Mark Stein. They got rid of, drawing the blank who the other guy was. Anyway, but they didn't like the populist nationalists. They did not. And I never quite understood that, actually. But now I think I do because they're CIA operatives. So it was National Review. And the big issue back then was a battle between the American First nationalists in the Republican Party and then the Buckleyites, low taxes, kind of getting out of the cultural wars. We're not going to fight the wars anymore. We're going to focus mostly on economics and low taxes and the waspist stuff. But we're going to cede the cultural battles to the left, and that's exactly what happened. The Republican Party never fought it because Bill Buckley took over the mantle of the Republican conservatism. And I think it was his brother James Buckley was a senator from New York under the Conservative Party. And so I think that led a lot of people who are nominally right, like me, astray, thinking Bill Buckley in National Review was right wing, and it turns out not to be. It's internationalism for sure. Anyway, so Bill Buckley, he always said, "I'd rather be governed by the first 200 names in the Boston phone book than all the professors at Harvard," and I always like that. All right, so let's see what you guys got, man. Again, if you guys got a question, we're going to have a huge crowd tonight, so that's cool because I did this kind of late. Probably go back to hockey here a little bit, but you got any questions, put them caps. Of course, a 3%, a super chat always puts you at the top. Always puts you at the top. I'm a freaking evil capitalist, baby. All right, so we got no mortgage or debt is financial freedom. 100%, man. 100%. There's my man, John the Wise Tushy, without his monocle. A discord with some Aussies, Germans, Romanians, and Polish folks. They all agree we are F for the next 3 to 4 years. Why? Why are we F for the next 3 to 4 years? Who's that you're with there, man? Like, who is that? Yeah, Texas. Property tax in Texas. Ooh. Wow. Schwab has CDs for 3% for a year. Hell yeah, that's a good deal, Marie. Hell, I'd be jumping on that. I just don't think interest rates are going up much more. I mean, I could 100% be wrong. 100%. I don't know if I'll be able to find that article for Phil Graham. In 2009, Phil Graham, written article in Wall Street Journal, talked about the Federal Reserve can't afford interest rates to go back up to normal because that'd be the biggest line item in the federal budget. We don't have the money for it. And I, to this day, I completely agree. We don't have the money to pay the debts if the interest rates go that high. We just don't. What is Japan happening right now? I haven't followed Japan that much in the last few weeks, but there's something going on. At least Zero Hedge keeps talking about Japan being a world of hurt. I'm not sure what's actually. Let's just take a 1 second. Let's look at the Japan current interest rate market here. Here, Jerome Powell, he's saying now that he doesn't have any control. Raising interest rates won't control gas and food prices. And look, I'm not saying he ever said it would. I just think you think, where you been, baby? So here we go. Powell's, my nose itches, all that cocaine I do. Fed chair warns U.S. recession possible. Look, it's not just possible, it's guaranteed. Ooh, oil is going down. Look at that. Price of oil going down. All right, I like that. Gasoline is going down. All right. Gold's at 18. I'm gonna buy some silver here the next couple of days. Silver at 21 bucks an ounce. You should be loading up on that, man. That's good. Coal's up, steel's up, lumber's down to 611. That's up, but still that's way low. Japan manufacturing growth eases to 4-month low. Let's just keep looking at some of these commodities, shall we? Here, UK gas. I can't see that. Is up 130% year over year. Sucks to be you, UK. That's what happens when you rely on biomass, you freaking fools. Freaking Boris Johnson can kiss my big fat shiny behind. I cannot stand that guy. Having Morrison lose in Australia makes me happy, even though he lost to a lib. I don't care. I hate when our side capitulates to the left, and they do it all the time. Boris Johnson did it, and stupid, what's his name? Scott Morrison and Australia did it, so they can all kiss my big fat behind. U.S. gas up freaking 138%. Look at that. Coal up 200%. I mean, heating oil double. Wait, I tell you, this is what scares me. This is wintertime. But, I say that every year. And the last couple of years, it hasn't been a big deal, but I say that every year. Aren't we now scrambling for uranium? And didn't Hillary Clinton sell a bunch of uranium to Russia back in 2009 and 10? Crazy. Man, my nose is itching. Silver's down 17% this year, year over year. That's what I'm talking about. That's a buy right there. If you're not loading up on some silver, man, what are you? Ooh, copper. Ore. Lithium's up 436%, but we're going to have lithium ion batteries, Josh. It's going to solve everything. I did a snarky post today. Some guy wrote an idiotic article in Bloomberg saying, we all know, what did he say? The storage for renewables is easy. I mean, the solution for renewables is easy. Just store the energy for future use. A guy actually wrote that in Bloomberg. It's easy. Just store the energy for future use, everybody. I was like, holy crap. We are literally in the midst of idiots. I was like, wow. Have you told anybody? I mean, I'm sure people got to know that. All we need is to store the energy for future use. What are we doing? No one knew. Einstein, Tesla, no one knew. Steinmetz, no one knew. Let's see here. So year over year, where's meat? Oh, soybeans can kiss my big fat behind too. That's tofu apparently. I hated tofu growing up. I hated soy when I read an Atlas Shrugged. I hate soy because it's all been the big libs soy, and I hate it now. So soybeans. Look at coffee. 56% year over year increase in coffee. Load up, baby. Milk, 40%. I don't drink any milk. I really don't drink milk. I mean, I like my raw milk on occasion. I don't drink it. I just don't. Let's see. Cotton up 66%. Oh, by the way, can I just say something real quick, guys? An idiot, I guess I'm just bashing people that don't care. I'm not bashing individual people, but the idea the South was relying on cotton during the Civil War, it's just freaking idiotic, man. People say, oh yeah, King Cotton, that's what the South was relying on to finance their war effort. No, they were not. Anyway, it's so freaking stupid that people say it's just dumb because they're trying to say that in regard to big oil. I can't remember what it was. I was reading this left-wing blog and they're like, oh yeah, the South was relying on King Cotton. Like, I don't know, we're relying on big oil to maintain our empire. I forgot what it was. It's dumb. It's just embarrassing. All right, so corn. Where's beef, man? Oh, there's cobalt, 58%. Damn. All right, so anyways, let's just look here real quick at Japan. Man, I tell you, load up on some silver, man. Silver's down that much. That's a good buy right there. U.S. eggs are up 174%. Well, you know where they're not up 174% is in your backyard. Now, but you have feed, I get it, but still, man, I mean, chickens will your dog will poop and the chicken will eat it, basically. Look at EU carbon permits up 50%. How ironic for the wealthy carbon traders. That's great. Solar energy index is down 16%. They can all kiss my big fat behind. Am I bitter? Yeah, I'm kind of bitter because I hate fakers. All right, so let's look at Japan here. We're going to go over to Japan, crack count. Let's just see what's going on in their bond market here. Let's see. I want to look at, I don't think it's prices of money. Yeah, interest rates. Right? there. They're trying to keep it. Maybe that's something I'm looking at. Hold on, Jeff. Bank the BOJ left its key short-term interest rates changed at negative 10 basis points. So 10-year bonds that are offered by unlimited. Okay, you're right here. So the board also said it would offer to buy unlimited amount of their own bonds that defend its implicit 0.25% cap every market day, repeating the guidance of market. I don't know. I don't get what that means. They reiterated will not hesitate to take extra measures if needed. I'm not sure what that means. This is good. M3 money supply. Hold on just a second. We go back to 2004. That's a tough number. All right, let me just hold on just. Let me just go to freaking interest rates. I mean, hold on just a second. Let's go back. You don't see that yet. Go back to Japan. Let me go back. There. Oh! Buddy, killing me. All right, let me go to. Where's inflation? Prices. There we go. That's one loud dog, man. Oh, there's inflation. All right, sweet. There we go. So inflation for Japan, yes, now it's at 2.5%. All right, so they finally got some inflation for the first time. That's why they're. That's interesting. And now let's just go to their growth rate. There, hold on a second. Oop, there we go. All right, there's a GDP. Oh, look at that. Interesting. So the growth rate, they're definitely in the last quarter, they're in negative territory. So they're going to recession too. All right, that's interesting. All right, so let's see. All right. Yeah, I'd be all over 3% CD, Marie. I don't know what's happened when I paid off my house 2 years ago. Yeah. What's the score right now? Precision Clays. Lightning are looking good, yeah. Just about all caught up with my videos. I only have like 5,800, man. So are you really caught up, Dennis? Or are you telling a fib there, my friend? Just goofing. Yeah, I don't know what he's digging in there. He's a knucklehead, that's for sure. What are you guys doing? Is that Coco? Who's here?
Grace, we're going swimming.
You going swimming? You want to get on the live stream? It's Chloe. Hey, everybody. Here comes Chloe. Pablo. She's from the University of Georgia. That's Chloe. University of Georgia bound. You're going to take Pablo with you, Chloe? To college? All right, let's see. All right. Let's see what we got here. Who wants to live in Austin, Texas? Oh, man, Harry, that sounds like hell on earth. Still light outside, late night stream, not so late. Jill, I'm getting old, man. I'm 51 years old, and it's like I'm getting by the day. Let's go, Brent. Oh man. Dude, you're killing me. I love you, Pablo, but that's one loud bark. Come here. You want to say hi? You just want some attention? My name is Pablo. I'm celebrating Pride Month. All right. Let's go, Brandon, to quit. Oh, that's perfect. Did you come up with that? No way. That's LGBTQ. Well, I'm going to start saying that. Let's go, Brandon, to quit. That is fantastic. Let's go, Brandon, to quit. LGBTQ. Oh yeah, I'm gonna start waving that with pride flags. Oh, that's fantastic. Michigan, right on, man. My wife and I retired in February. Yeah, right on, Dean. Look at that, my man. Lots of Michigan. Man, Michigan, my man Roger sent me that picture of Michigan up there. It just freaking looks gorgeous. I got to get up there one of these days, man. I got to get up there. It looks, I can handle Michigan, I think. I don't know when, the winter, everyone's like, the winter time. Yeah, I get it. But still, man, oof. I don't know. I mean, it's been a long time since I lived in super cold. Night, night, Pablo. Sleep tight. You're gonna have to lose some weight. The vet says you're too heavy. I was working with a guy today, and this guy was barked like a knucklehead. And I said, "Sorry." He goes, "Man, I don't care." It was like, "Come to expect your dog." This is funny, man. Friedman said it's caused by government policy creating too much money that's chasing too few goods. Yeah. Well, no, Friedman, too much money chasing too few goods, 100%. But the focus has always been on too much money as opposed to too few goods. And I wish the policymakers would focus on the too few goods. But I think it was Phil says you can lay every economist end to end, you will still never reach a conclusion. um, I don't know who said it. It was Hoover, Truman. Maybe it's Truman. Yeah, I think it was Truman. He goes, "Man, I just want a one-handed economist." That's what he said. He said every economist. He wanted a one-handed economist because every economist says, "But on the other hand," oh man, yeah, California's got a lot going for it. That's for sure. My oldest is there right now at USC for some stupid thing. She's coming tomorrow, coming home. I got to get her early, dark 30 from the airport because she had a cockroach that was running around her apartment, scared the living bejesus out of her. I said, "Sister, if you're that afraid of a California cockroach, you better not go back to Houston, back to Texas." My goodness, they got Texas and Houston. My understanding is y'all got cockroaches the size of mouse that fly. You know what? That's why they call them palmetto bugs because it sounds cute. Palmetto bugs. Cockroach is disgusting, but this economy is bugging me. I'm retiring a year. My only saving grace, I will trade my devalued stock and transfer to the devalued stock market and hope for the rest. I actually think they're going to stop here a lot sooner than people think. I think they raise so fast. They'll probably raise one more time to save space, 50 basis points, and then they'll stop. And then because the economy is literally going to be in recession, we're already in it, I think. And then they'll say, all right, now we got to lower to get out of recession. And the only reason they're raising right now is to basically try to save some face so they can say later on when they lower, look, we are the ones who did it. It was us lowering that increase in the growth. It was us increasing that reduced inflation. Oh, look at that baby. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Daddy's gonna buy you a mockingbird. I'm claiming 9.5 years till retirement. Really hoping that my final financial will be. Oh boy, we got some. Buddy, you are killing me. Oh. All right, let me try. Can I get rid of this clown? Or did someone already get him? I hope. All right, so hey, I think some of you guys got. That's my sponsor. Thanks, John. That's my sponsor. That's funny. I have a funny story from my younger years. I didn't know what rainbow flags meant. I walked into a store with a big rainbow flag out front, long, narrow store. I innocently browsed it. I'm going to get a blackberry in my tummy and a raspberry on my butt. That's good, John. While I'm doing a video too. That was classic. Hey, thanks, Jill. Oh man, that is classic. 100% stocks and current contribution retirement funds loved to buy the bottom of the U on both sides. Yeah, exactly. That's why just keep plugging away. Keep plugging away. I wish there were a way. Look, I don't like big oil. There's a guy named Bob Sinha. He's an Indian guy. He's American, but he's from India on here who hates big oil. And I don't blame them. Big oil sucks. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's what powers our. My daughter's got a friend or two over, and Pablo's going nuts. Pablo loves the ladies. He's like, just pick me up and give me a kiss, ladies. Finney doesn't care. Finney's bi. You know what I'm saying? Finney's he's not even trained. Finney's what I don't even know what it is when you don't even have a sex. Finney's like, whatever, dude. Pablo likes the chicks though. Finney's like, Finney's like, I don't even have a sex. You know what I'm saying? Pablo's like, he loves the ladies. Pablo does. He's a ladies' man. Finney doesn't care. Oh boy. I wish you guys could hear these dogs right now. It's a madhouse here. Let's say a prayer, man. Heavenly Father, I just thank you for allowing us to gather here and just I mean, I know it's weird, but to enjoy each other's company. It's so much fun. It's so much fun with fellow companionship, with solidarity, knowing full well that you are in charge of all. And we are just here to serve you and to enjoy your good graces, everything you've given us, Heavenly Father. May we just laugh and be a good cheer, not worry so much. Don't face agony. We're not alone. Hard times going to come. And when they come, can we just remember that you are always in charge? And the end result's always the same. You win. You win. And you love us and you want a personal relationship with us. Let's just keep laughing and be of good cheer. And always remember, number one, that you are Lord and you are good in everything. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Every time you smile and laugh, it's just, oh man, it's such a good thing. It just makes you, I just sit there and all these people who are so sad and so miserable, the Karens of the world. And, we really are obligated as Christians to pray for them. And I know it's tough. It's just, I had a lady give me a bad look the other day when I went to the grocery store, some kind of heavy set, older lady, older Karen. And, she cut me off and I said, oh, I'm sorry, because she was older. I'm nice. I'm polite. Gave you, I was like, it ticked me off. But I was like, at the end of the day, something going on in her life that I just need to just back, I don't I'm not going to yell or anything. I just kind of chuckled. And I told my wife, I said, oh man, Karen. And, this lady didn't yell at me or anything. She just gave me a mean look. And I was like, what the hell? Like, I'm very friendly, And anyway, it's obviously something happened in that lady's life. I don't know what it is. It's sad. It's sad. But it's just too much to be happy for, man. It's too much to be optimistic. And this one, I was going to do a video today when I was walking. And I ended up eating too many raspberries or strawberry or blackberries. I didn't want to do it. It's freaking hot out today. And I was just saying, I'm sick of the negativity. I am. It's like, I'm tired of it, man. This is a freaking America. No one's been as free as we are. I mean, I was listening to this guy saying we're going back to the 70s. I'm like, well, okay, if we do, but I mean, I grew up in the 70s. I mean, I wasn't living like this, but we didn't have cell phones back then. You know what I'm saying? We didn't. Most people, at least, we didn't have a TV. Never mind a color TV. I mean, but some people did. A lot of people didn't. I mean, we had to spend a lot of money on energy, on oil, gas, electric bills, and all that. But we found a way. We found a way, and we're all going to find a way. We're human beings. We're resilient. I might not find a way with Barky McGee down there, but we're just resilient creatures. And and the reason I say that is because, I mean, it's just too short to be negative all the time. Do you hear about those two guys who died, one basketball player and one Baltimore Ravens guy? We all know why they died. I mean, can I prove it? No, I don't need to, but we all know why. But it's just too short, man. And I'm reading this article. I was going to do a video on it, and I just got too many things up here to do videos on. I can't look. I don't wake up any day thinking I'm going to do a video on this. I just see something that's of interest, and I do a video on it. I wish I had more formality. I just don't. Anyway, point being is, I'm sitting there thinking, this guy's writing in that we're all going to live to, like, what did he say? He said 5 million people are expected to live to 130 years. Because there's 1 million people that are 100 now. And just this guy in my business who should be smarter than that. I'm like, do you not know how demographics works? I mean, Why there's so many more people living to 100 now is because the baby booms were huge, a huge population. And in any bell curve, you're always going to have people on here. You're always going to have people over here on any bell curve. The issue is my generation, 30 years from now, I'm 51, so in the 80s, we're a smaller generation. So inherently, because we're smaller, we're going to have less people over here. We're not going to have freaking 5 times more, idiot. I'm getting that. I was like, why are you saying that? And like, people need to know better than that to say, because it's just scare tactic. It was like, you're going to live to 100 and you're going to run out of money like the stupid Boston College thing did today, and you're going to need long-term care and blah, blah, blah. It's like, you're basing people living to 100 on a generation of boomers that were huge, dwarfed my generation, huge. And so 30 years now, the boomers are dead. I'm sorry to say. Then I'm the dying generation. And I hate to say it, but my generation ain't healthy. We've been eating crap. We've been taking pharmaceuticals. We've been getting jabbed like you wouldn't believe. The idea that we're going to be freaking that much more healthy, you crazy? Now, thankfully, my generation was probably the last before we really got jabbed up. I think my generation's kids, well, I didn't know any better. And in hindsight, I wish I wouldn't jab my kids, but I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? But they got jabbed freaking every which way to Sunday. Well, from infancy, because the CDC can kiss my big fat behind based on fake. There's no, I don't say fake studies, no studies that says all these jabs are healthy. We don't know that. There's no evidence of that. Anyway, the point being is, but no one knew because I wasn't awake enough to realize these guys are all fools. But now after COVID, I am. But I kind of knew that before that. But that was what let me down where I am now, knowing that COVID has woken a lot of people up, thankfully. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's still in the system for my kids. You know what I'm saying? And as such, pharmaceuticals are going through the roof. I take Lexapro. I can no qualm admitting that. What does it do for my long term? I don't know. I think about it all the time. Fluoride in your drinking water. We know there's some issues with that. That's a fact. We know. I mean, literally, that's a fact. If people are going to say that's conspiracy theory, no, it's not. We know that statins do bad stuff for your brain and your memory. That's a fact. Now, does that mean everyone's affected? No, it'd be silly to say that. But we know there's some issues there. And we know that most people are getting on statins as they age. That is a fact. Most people are coming up, my generation, are on all kinds of drugs, pharmaceuticals. What's the long-term impacts? We don't know, man. We don't know. Plus all the fluoride that's in the water that you all didn't have as baby boomers. Plus everything else that we're doing in terms of just society that's, keeping us inside, getting away from vitamin D. No one's out in the garden and stuff. The likelihood that we're all going to live to 100 is silly. The likelihood that we're all going to live to 100 eating cat food in long-term care facility, it's just stupid, man. So all these people say, I got to keep working, keep grinding, because I can live to 100, I'm going to eat cat food. Okay, so you work for 3 more years, you won't be eating cat food, you'll just be eating, wet cat food. Instead of Meow Mix, you'll be eating, what's that one, cat food? The banquet, there's some kind of banquet cat food, I know what it's called. Wow, life is so much better. Anyway, just be grateful, man. It's too much to be, and we have evidence of all kinds of people surviving, the wars of World War II, surviving the Civil War, surviving. I was reading, I just can't remember who it was. They went through, who the hell was it? It was, I know who it was. I'm reading this book on the life and death of the great American cities by Jane Jacobs. And she cites a lady, Penny Kostitsky from Baltimore, whose husband turned out to be a pretty big urban planner who's planning for more, cities that have stores instead of it's like walled in suburban stuff, more cities that have activities. Anyway, her husband's named George, and he was actually born in Shanghai from Russian immigrants. They fled from the Bolsheviks. They went to Shanghai. And then when the Mao was taken over, they fled over Siberia and they came ultimately into America and they landed in Baltimore. I'm just off the top of my head, I can't remember. And the point being is I can't remember how they met. But anyway, long story short, this guy fled the Bolsheviks, was born in Shanghai. When Mao took over was in the late 40s or so. Maybe it was before Mao, but maybe it was when the commies were gathering forces in the late 30s, early 40s. I can't remember. But they fled China through Siberia, found their way to Baltimore, and he became pretty well known as an urban planner, George Kostelski or something like that. Anyway, I can't remember. That's some serious resilience, man. That's some serious resilience. The idea that we don't have resilience, it's just nuts. I mean, it will be if you're if you need to be resilient, you're going to be resilient, and that's just a fact. Anyway, all right. I think I get back to watching the game, my friends. I know 46-64. I don't know what that means. I know you're talking about the hockey game. I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, I'm not sure I'd buy silver bars. I like the ounces. That way you can trade them quickly, Jill. Just be careful buying ounces because that's a lot of money to trade. You know what I'm saying? And the nice thing about the ounces, you can trade. Here's an ounce for a cup of beer or whatever. Yeah, Kamal's definitely. She's been drinking 4 out of 8 statins. We got what they was salty cracker heals up Kamala or something like that. Yeah, right. Completely agree. Bear markets are wooden millionaires. I completely agree, Chicken Charlie. Yep. All right, so I can get out here and go watch some games. It's cool stuff. Appreciate you guys being out there, man. Just say your prayers. Being prayerful is always a good thing. All right, thanks again for jumping on board kind of late and without warning. Oh my lands! What? Holy crap! Holy! Wait, where is he? Oh, there he is. Look at this wild man. Hey, wild man. Yeah, he is. All right, I'm gonna see you guys. God bless. Thanks, man.